Vietnam. Welcome to Aussie Formula Racing Season 6, Round 21 from Hanoi in Vietnam. Apologies, I don't know what time of day it is because I've just come out of a 24-hour race at Le Mans, so apologies if the stream is not up to its usual standard. I'll be co-commentating with Mate, who will hopefully take the lead on this one. Unfortunately, I don't have any highlights for you this week, I'm afraid. We'll go through this 5.6 kilometre circuit, 23 turns, 3 DRS zones here, and this will be the last time that we ever race here in Aussie Formula Racing, as it's not going to be on the calendar anymore in F1. Just taking a while for us to load into the quali session, just waiting on Flyboy to load a little bit. Hey Seb in the chat. We're just waiting for AFR Flyboy there, just load in and we'll be underway shortly. Watching from the laptop this evening, Seb. Very nice. Missing your company in the commentary box this evening. Hopefully we'll get to hear you next season as well. Yeah, cheers for that, Sandeezy. We are only going to have, I think, 16 in the Tier 1 lobby this evening. A few people unable to make it who were also participating in the Le Mans 24-hour on iRacing. And yeah, a few people I think just really don't like the Vietnam track, but we did actually have a pretty interesting one last season. It was pretty exciting. We had actually Mattia Dabri, if you recall, was in P2 and crashed out at the final corner. He misjudged where the finish line was and ended up retiring about 5 meters short of the line and got a DNF with no points. We're still just waiting for Mr. Flyboy to kill his connection and rejoin. Hopefully he'll be back in a moment. But anyway, I'm joined by Mate in the commentary box this evening. How are you this evening?
Good, thanks, Gus. How's everyone going?
Everyone's doing well. We've got a few guys in the chat already. Just chomping at the bit. We'll just have to wait and see what's going on with that. This is Flyboy in one of our channels here.
Doesn't appear to be in voice.
Okay. That's annoying.
Might try and send him a message.
Alright guys, we're gonna be right back once we get this lobby sorted. Looks like we're starting a new lobby, so we'll be back in about 5 minutes to kick it off again. All right, we're back. We're loading in now, so apologies for the delay. One of the drivers had a bit of an issue with the connection and was not in Discord, so we couldn't tell them. So we're in Med Lobby and we're all good to go. Just got to wait for drivers to finish loading in and we will be underway. We haven't actually had one driver join us in that restart, so we're now up to 17 drivers on the grid. We have Kalios filling in again this evening, so thanks to him for hanging around. Just wait for the drivers to load their setups, and they'll be out on their laps in a moment. So guys, in the chat, let us know your predictions for qualifying tonight. Obviously, Mikau has a qualifying ban. I think Kalios might as well. Both racing points not competing this evening. And let's see, we've got the Haas as the first one out. Is that Artanis or is it Fondon? It's Fondon. So, breaking the tradition of Apollo Pepsi being the first driver out on track in the qualifying session. And yeah, away he goes. Alright, now we got Baitmate back in the commentary box now. Any news on the weather?
Yes, so it's dry for both sessions, Gus. Unfortunately.
Well, that's disappointing, but that's alright. We'll see how we go with that one. I'm sure it'll still be entertaining nonetheless. We've got Ali shouting out his favourite commentator in the chat. If you didn't know, Baitmate, Ali is Big Al's brother, who's the host of our lobby.
I actually haven't heard that one yet.
Yes, he is. Apparently related to Potsy as well, so... Okay.
My audio seems to be completely broken.
Seb's a bit cut. He was told that he was his favourite as well. So Ali, what's going on, mate? So we're going to jump on board with Fondon as he comes through final sector here. Very fast and flowing section here, but there's no room for error at all. We saw a couple of drivers eat the concrete barrier in this section last season. A couple of retirements as well as just some broken wings, but here we go. Fondon's going to take us through of a lap in Vietnam.
Nice and smooth start.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, last corner is really awkward and difficult. It's got that concrete wall right against the edge of the racing line. It's awkward turn 2. It just keeps on going on forever and turns into turn 3 and 4.
He got some pretty good minimum speed there. It shouldn't affect him too much down straight. I guess the decider will be if he cuts these curbs right here. A little bit of a lock up there, send him a bit wide, he'll lose a bit of time there.
Another corner that just seems to go on forever. You can just never... Oh, he actually clipped the wall there, I think, on the right hand side. Chunky damage to his end plate. It's okay for the off-board shot. Zooms along straight down to the hairpin. Goes to the 75 metre board. Stays at the second gear as well, doesn't shift down for that extra rotation. Decides to control the wheel spin.
It's a pretty clean exit. He gets a little bit of a lock up, sends him a bit wider than the apex. Still a pretty clean lap so far though, Gus.
Yeah, it's pretty tidy so far. I haven't seen... He's only been in the game for a little bit. Too many laps around here, I must say. Got it together. So there he goes. He has a couple of bites at the final corner there. Turned in a little bit too early initially. He's at 134.555, which is immediately beaten by Trent in the Ferrari with 133.223. So corner there, a bit off the pace.
That's a pretty quick lap.
They jump on board with the Red Bull of Mattia Dabry, who's a little bit further back in the third sector. Into the final corner, you can see he's used up all his ERS deployment already. Just line P3 with 133.493.
Big Al's just cut on his lap.
Jump back on board with him. Yeah, you can see that very long left-hander. That one jump on board with Romeo Potsy. Doing very well at the moment. Careful in the second sector.
Oh, as Wahid gets a big clap at the wall.
And Potsy goes for the pole with 132.864, first driver in the 32s, and it's almost half a second clear of Trin.
Oh, Wahid spun. Oh, that's very unfortunate. Right at that really awkward left-right. It's a very hard one to get right. As you're trying to extract as much speed as you can onto the straight, because it all matters.
Just on board with Flyboy now, has a bit of a moment coming out of the hairpin. Got a bit of traffic up ahead as the Mercedes sees it, gets out of the way, and yeah, peels off into the pits.
Combine's just done a purple first. I don't know how accurate that is.
Highway goes 11th to 35.1. There's some board with Combine.
Staying second as well there, guys.
Big moment there on the exit. Just lining up the rears a little bit, losing traction.
Ooh, this final sector is going to cost them quite a lot.
It looks very understeery through this flowing section. In C, just having to correct a little bit.
Ooh, that inside curve is very dangerous. He's already run out of ERS, Gus.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty hungry circuit. We saw Matteo Dabri before running out before the final corner as well, and combined comes to a slot of 34.668. So, fair bit of spread across the field at the moment. Don't have anyone else on the lap at the moment. Probably Pepsi's on an outlap, so jump on board with Kim.
On the mediums as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he's just trying to get a bit of track time. Might be a bit lower on practice than he was in the 124-hour a bit earlier this evening, so yeah, may not have all the track time that he'd be typically having. It is weird to see him last one out on track to set a time. He's always the first one to leave the pits every other week. Yeah, Potsy at the moment sitting there on provisional pole. Nearly 4/10 clear of Trin.
Pepsi does not get a clean start to his lap. He clapped both of the walls. I think he avoided damage. But yeah, it's definitely exploring lap, like you said. Got most people coming out on their outlaps now.
Take a lot of curb there. Track limit's a little bit forgiving here at Vietnam, and take a lot of those big curbs that cut both sides of the wall.
Got Fondant starting a lap now.
Currently sitting P10, 134.555, so saw that time immediately beaten by Trin. So he'll be looking to try and find over a second and a half behind pole position. Not a particularly long circuit, it's only around 33 all up thereabouts.
I find the big issue with this track is just the long, awkward corners. It's very hard to keep the pace and the minimum speed up.
Yeah, and very poor visibility as well. I hope we don't see any incidents that are around blind corners or anything, especially in the sector 3. It's very tricky to see what's coming, and you're just going so fast.
Honda does seem to be having a little bit of trouble hooking the car up. He seems to be locking the car up a little bit. It's causing him to miss a few of the apexes, costing him a chunk of time. I don't know how much, if he's going to improve on this lap.
And improves by half a second, so it goes up to P7, nearly breaking into the 33s, but not quite able to do it. Finished up a little bit further back. We've got Wahid about to come across the line. He's nearly 7/10 up on his time. And there we go, improves by over a second. Still P11 though. Still work there to do. But the other half of Artanis is currently P5. Unfortunately on penalties had his win taken away from him last week, so he's still yet to get a Tier 1 win. Goes purple in sector 3, improves by a 10th, and he's 5th place at 133.516. Football with T-Mac now, who's currently in the hairpin. 10th and a half up on his time, about to come into the 3rd sector now. He's down a little bit more time there, up by nearly 3/10. Be good enough to put him into the second row, finish it off, and I'm sure he's got some more time to find here.
Very clean final sector so far.
Runs a little bit wide there at the second last corner. Affect him too much. And he'll flick it into the final corner. And improves by just 2/10, so he lost a little bit of time there in the 3rd sector. Still in the second row though, just being at Mattia Dabri by 400ths of a second.
Oh, I'm on board with Mattia Dabri. Oh no! Honden's just accidentally blocked Mattia Dabri by the looks of it.
His fuel indicator light is flashing, so I would have. I don't know if that was.
He was definitely pushing. I don't know if it was a flying lap. I'm not going to speak for that, but he was definitely pushing very quick.
Meanwhile, his teammate Big Al has invalidated his second run, so he's yet to get a time on the board. And Pozzi as well, the Alfa Romeo, invalidating his second run. So got just over 5 minutes left in the qualifying session here, so enough time for drivers to have another lap or two trying to qualify. The rest of the drivers, as we said, have already set time, so they've got nothing to lose by giving it everything they've got, especially that last corner. We saw T-Mac just probably not using all of the track on the exit. He's leaving about half a metre thereabouts, just to make sure he doesn't DNF. We've got lights in the chat saying that, yeah, Mattia Dabri was on a lap. Was impeded, so yeah, it's unfortunate.
No, yeah, light said in lap actually.
But, in lap, sorry.
Yeah, there we go. But, yeah, I'm sure we'll find out the true story or the full story later on that one. Got Pepsi now coming out on an out lap.
Yeah, he's on the softs this time, so see a bit more of a representative time from him. Currently in 14th on 136.9.
Wahid rushing out as well. Getting ready now for his lap. Pepsi, that is. And here we go. Gets locked in 4th a little bit there. That would have cost him a little bit on this straight. Not too detrimental. Ooh, a bit of a lock up there. Got sent a little bit wide. Doesn't get the ideal line through here. Gets sent very wide. Has to jump on the brakes. He's able to keep on the throttle a decent amount though. He wouldn't have lost too much down the straights. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure, Panda. I'm not judging Pepsi. Like,
I am.
his
It's not
ability.
Pepsi, okay, mate.
I am just simply commentating on his lap. But he's doing well for zero prac, man. Just to clarify for anyone that doesn't know, Pepsi is on the end of a 24-hour iRacing race and has pretty much jumped straight into this race with zero practice.
Big lock up on the front left. Together. Really committed to the final corner. Comes across the line. P8, 133.997. Not bad for a person doing a zero prac. Panda calling in the Hulkenberg, obviously their fly-in driver, just when he's needed. We've got the ball with Wahid and the Williams, who's currently down at P12. Coming through the hairpin now.
Ooh, staying second there. Looks like it cost him just a little bit of that car hooking up there for the apex. A little bit wide on the entry there, although he's got a pretty good run into it.
Going up for a May off to the side there. Might keep staying out of his way.
It's a little bit slow through there.
Oh, using almost all of the track. Improves by 4/10, but still only good enough for 11th, 134.114. See who's just about to finish a lap. Got. We've got Dabry on a lap at the moment.
It's a pretty decent run onto the straight. Pretty nice there. Clips the wall a little bit. We'll see what happens if I get the split time. He's currently 2/10 up with a lock up there. I'm not sure if he'll be able to beat his time here. You can see the understeer.
Goes around the final corner. We've got the checker flag out, so this will be his final lap. And he comes across the finish line. Does not improve. With the Alfa Romeo of Potsy about to come across the line as well. Improves by a 10th. Oh, and we've got Tannis hitting the wall. Does not improve. Got the Mercedes as well. T-Mac about to come across the finish line now. Improves by 2.5 going onto the front row. We've got the Red Bull of Big Al on the medium compound tyre. Interesting choice, but this might just be to get some crack in because some soft tyre. So you have to set a time as well and validate both of these soft runs earlier. Ferrari peels off into the pits. It's Trin, unable to improve. And we'll see Smitty will be next across the line, currently matching his previous Delta.
Is that someone behind him?
Yeah, he's being stalked by Pacey, I think that is, in the Alpha Tauri. Getting a nice little toe there, they're close enough. Oh, Smitty using all of the track, improves by 2/10. Pacey comes across the line, half a 10th. The other Alfa Romeo of Flyboy about to come across the line now.
Condon comes across and
Condon going P8 there, and Fever.
Matzo backing out of his lap.
Yeah, Fever backed out as well. Let Matsoy to fire from the session, and that is it. So congratulations to Potsy for putting it on pole by half a second. T-Mac P2 there with 133.216. Trin in the chat saying he only got to put in a banker lap. He didn't actually get any of his push laps done. So unfortunately we could have seen more of a tight battle for the front row, but kudos to Potsy. So we've also got Pacey on the second row there, followed by Smitty, Matsia, Dabry, Artanis, Pondon, Combined, and Apollo Pepsi. They'll all be starting on the soft tyre in the race. Then got Matsoid, Wahid, Feeber, Big Al, and Flyboy rounding out the grid with Mikau and Kalios, both serving qualifying bands tonight. I'm just going to wait for the drivers to pass through to the race session. Mate, what do you think is going to happen in this race tonight?
Honestly not sure, Gus. We've got a bit of a different grid for a change in Tier 1, so it'll be interesting to see. We've got a few people who are currently trying to get themselves good points to avoid being potentially relegated. For example, Pondon will be looking for a good result and I think he's starting in 8th. That'll be a big confidence booster for him.
Yeah, I think there's a nice battle brewing at the moment between, I think, Pondon, Smitty, Wahid, and I think Flyboy as well. I think they're currently the bottom 4 on the standings. So in AFR,
yep.
Bottom 2 typically will go down to Tier 2, and the top 2 from Tier 2 will come up. But it's not a hard, fast rule, so there may be more, maybe less, depending on just how it all crumbles. So let's wait for the drivers to confirm their strategies, and we'll be underway for the formation lap. Yeah, the championship is done and dusted, so Mikau and Feeber don't really have much to fight for. I think their constructors was wrapped up last week. Thank you very much for the follow. Who we got there? Siebel's cool, and that is a very tiny little notifier. I can't even read it.
We got a pretty good battle for 4th place going right now between Pacey, Trin, and Artanis. Only 10 points between the 3 of them, so we'll see what happens there.
Here we go. Drivers are all on the grid now. So outside the top 10, everyone except for Flyboy and Mikau on the mediums. Flyboy on the hards, Mikau on the softs.
Flyboy on the hards.
Yeah, might just be going long. Maybe hope for a safety car a bit later on in the race. Yeah, I don't know. It's not been particularly grippy, and typically we see at street circuits that they can be high deg, but also low grip. So it's yeah, it might not be a fun tyre to drive on. Panda in the chat shouting out T-Mac. Very solid effort, going P2, starting on the front row.
Both the racing points starting next to each other as well. That'll be pretty interesting on alternating strats. Yes, Band, it's a dry race, unfortunately. Would have been very nice for some weather to throw a bit of a curveball for everyone.
So the AWS predicted pit stop strategy, so they reckon 2 stops, soft, medium, soft. Go Potsy coming around the final corner, forming up on the grid. So there's a bit of a choke point at turn 1 and 2, so hopefully the drivers are able to get through without much problem. I'm just about to find out 2 racing points forming up on the back row, and it will be lights out very shortly. There we go, lights are coming on, the engines are revving. And they're away. Well, it looks like a great start from the racing point at the back of, I think that's Kalios. And there goes the leaderboard, so I don't know where anyone is. They're going 3-4 wide into turn 1. Looks like the Mercedes are getting pinched on the apex.
Trin moves up in a second.
It's a really tricky corner here, very low grips. You can see they're all just struggling, trying to find it. They're relatively unscathed. Go back to follow Pepsi and the racing point of Kalios going side by side. Mikau, there it's Mikau, I believe, moves up into P10.
Honan's currently sitting in 7th place as well. I believe he got a position.
Big winners there. Fever and Mikau up 4 and 6 places respectively. That's went down 5 though, so not a great start for him. Big Al Mahi going side by side into the hairpin. Mahi thinks about it, but decides to back out, and he's left himself vulnerable now to Kalios, who tries around the outside, but gets stuck on the curb. And loses out big time there to Mahi, as well as Matsoid, who's just moved past him as well. It's still side by side though as they come into the corner into sector 3. Managed to get it sorted out, but with fine now they'll go through single file. This sneaky section in sector 3. Just going to jump up to Potsy. He comes around the last couple of corners.
Seems to have kept it pretty tidy through lap 1. Well, as a McLaren lost the rear end a little bit there in the back. I think that was Pepsi.
One of the Haas's they're locking up. They're actually side by side. Kunz is pulling his hair out.
As Pacey just flies by one of the Ferraris there. I wasn't sure who that was. Speed was broken.
Yeah, he's got some rapid pace at the moment.
I've got a Racing Point and McLaren going side by side into that. I believe that's Mikau and Fever.
Trying to skirt at the moment, but we'll see him on the straight.
Matsuya Dabri just comes over to the side there.
Pepsi's still in P10, under a bit of pressure from Big Al now. He's on those medium tyres.
Well, he's making it work around the outside. Oh, the medium tyres as well, gets the move done. So Mikau's just going to fly away from Fever now on those soft tyres. Scoreboard fixes itself after this lap.
Back after everyone crosses the line. There we go, DRS is enabled as well on the 3rd lap of the race. We've got a Red Bull in the pits already. Matsuya Dabri on the soft tyre, and I think that might be for a replacement wing. Not sure if that was because of any contact, but he's lost his left end plate, and it's going to hurt him pretty bad.
Mikau trying to get past Artemis. I think he might save it for the straight coming up. Has a look, decides better against it. He's going to stay very close on Artanis here and probably get the move down for the straight. I'm pretty sure Artanis still gets DRS from his teammate ahead. Mikau just makes such a better exit. Mikau's already down to 30% ERS as well, Gus.
Yeah, I think he's trying to use a lot of it at the moment just to make up some ground, starting in the back row, but already up to P7. I think he'll be worried about saving it. He gets a little tap from the Haas. He likes that very much. With the yellow flag, got Renault around. It looks like Combined YouTube has lost a bit of his wing at the hairpin, and he's done a flip turn. He's going to have to come into the pits, so very disappointing for the Renault driver. He was running quite well. He's now down 7 positions. Starting in P9.
Condon's currently right behind Smitty as well, the person he's trying to outscore.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be an interesting battle to see unfold. I think it might go down to the final race of Brazil next week.
Smitty gets a bit deep there, loses a bunch of time. He might even lose DRS here. Condon might be able to get him here on this straight.
DRS
not too far back. If he just plays it smart and waits for the next straight, he should be able to get it done relatively easy as long as Smitty stays outside of Pacey's DRS.
Mikau's just hit the wall there, just in the background, and I think he's lost his right end plate. Just caught that in the background. Yeah, he's lost his right end plate, and we've got an Alpha Tauri around. I think that's Matzoid as well. And he's backwards, reversing into the barrier. Broken his rear wing in the next game.
Smitty absolutely used all of his ERS defending Ponden there on the straight. It's not the track you want to be using all of your ERS at the start. It's very hard to get ERS back. It's also allowed Mikau and Artanis and Fever to get right on the back of Ponden, causing a little bit of a train here.
Oh, it looks like Kalios has had a drama as well. He's still got his whole front wing intact, but yeah, he's had a bit of a spin. He's on fresh tyres as well, so I wonder if he's actually just come out of the pits.
So Mikau comes into the pits.
Yeah, with that wing damage, I think he's not going to take his chances at the street circuit. It's not one where you want to have a lack of downforce. We see as well, I think that's Poly Pepsi is coming to the pits. I think he's got some wing damage as well. No wing damage. He's just doing fresh tyres. So I wonder if he's just doing a two-stop strategy here. You see there, Matzoid going past. And Matzoid about bringing the distance there. Is finally caught at the back. Oh, and Pepsi actually nearly gone into the pit exit wall there. He cut the grass on the pit exit. Lucky not to damage his wing. I think he would have probably packed up and gone home, gone straight to bed after that if he had broken his wing, but gets away with it. Going to jump up to Artanis, who's under a bit of pressure from Fever now on the back straight, heading into the hairpin. Fever lines him up, doesn't go for a lunge, but Artanis breaks a bit late, locks up.
Trin's also staying within DRS to Potsy at the front, and there's not too much of an ERS difference, but enough that Trin might be able to get an overtake done if he stays around this far back through the two DRS zones.
Yeah, might just be biding his time, just waiting for the right moment to strike.
As I say that, he's on the cusp of falling out of DRS, just saves it. T-Mac with a big lock up there, still manages to get the car turned in, but Pacey's still all over the back of him, and T-Mac struggles a little bit there, goes a bit wide, compromises his line through this whole straight. Still has a little bit of speed though, should be more than enough to hold off Pacey.
Pacey, yeah, looks really strong here. This track qualified well, and that start he had was absolutely blistering. Took up a couple of positions. I think he's net zero, so he's doing very well at the moment. Sticking with Team Mac.
He's also been saving his ERS very well.
Good job. See how this one unfolds. Pacey decides.
Fever and Artanis side by side.
Fever going around the outside this time. There's a bit of contact between the two. Fever going up onto the curb, but he's got more traction out there. And gets the overtake.
Big Al's right on the back of him as well. Oh, Big Al here. Artanis is in a little bit of a medium runner sandwich. Big Al gets a bit of big understeer there. Pacey is very, very close to the back of T-Mac there. Almost thought about a move. He's going to stay right on the back of him here through the first few corners.
Oh, he nearly loses the rear, Pacey. Correct it.
T-Mac lost more speed though, and he's very close. He should be able to get the overtake done. He's not using any overtake though. I think he's going to wait. We should see the move happen here on this straight.
Goes using his overtake this time. T-Mac covers to the left, but Pacey blazes on by. Easy as you like. He's got the move done. Have a little bit further back. Big Al quite close to the back of Artanis now. Oh, he goes for a dart to the inside, very deep and late on the brakes is Big Al. Great move by the Red Bull driver. He can make it stick. They're still side by side. Artanis,
very smart from Artanis there, being able to see Big Al coming.
A little bit of a tap there from the Haas on the back of the Red Bull. No harm done. Continue on.
Interesting. All that battling with Pacey and T-Mac allowed Smitty to get right on the back of them as well. He's joined into this fight. I'm sure Pondon will be kicking himself for not being in DRS range right now. Because now he's under threat by Fever and Big Al behind him. Fever gets a great run through turn 3 and 4. I think he's going to stay right on the back of Pondon here and take him on the straight like we saw before with Pacey on T-Mac. Fever's so close he can get it done before the DRS.
Any of his overtake though. The DRS flap open now. And look at Big Al. Big Al trying to follow him through. Oh, they're not going to go 3 wide, are they? Now Fever has to defend.
It's a very good job though. Big Al has to stay behind, and Big Al did blow a bunch of his ERS making that move happen. Up front, Trin has fallen out of DRS range from Potsy.
Thanks, Ando. Yeah, probably is still under iRacing if one of the mods could change that. Great, thanks. Yeah, Potsy cooling off into the pits. See if Trin reacts to the undercut.
Smitty's staying within DRS of T-Mac, and T-Mac's fallen out of it from Pacey, so I wonder if Smitty might be able to get himself a position here.
Absolutely. T-Mac looking very vulnerable at the moment, but that said, he's just got back within that 1 second mark and the detection zone is a bit further down the straight, so he might have just been able to get back in range.
I think Pacey must have made a little bit of a mistake there. As Fever did a big squirt of VRS just then to try.
And there's a bit of contact there between Smitty and T-Mac. T-Mac manages to catch it, but get the rear unsettled by the Ferrari. Oh, and Smitty's in the wall. Smitty's hit the wall.
No, yep. He's missing a right front end plate, goes into the pits.
Peels off. Unfortunately, it looked like he was just getting ready to make the move on T-Mac.
Miguel looking very racy on the back of Fever now. Fever runs a little bit wide there. I wonder if he got a warning for that. Definitely gave him the speed he needed though. Big Al's definitely pulling him in and will be very close on the straight if he gets these corners right. Fever's still outside of T-Mac's DRS. As I say that, he pops straight back in. I believe the soft runners would be struggling very hard on the softs right now.
Good job back to Mikau, slicing up Pondon now. Take away Pondon from the point. It's nice to get it done at the first DRS zone. So wait for the second.
Pondon and Smitty now running the same strategy, but Smitty is now a few places back, 4 seconds behind, so Pondon would have had a little cheeky. Whoa, as Pondon goes for a late dive, locks up, goes wide, loses 2 positions now. Oh, losing even more, he had to do a turnaround. Oh no, that is definitely not what he wanted to happen, as Pepsi lets him through. How unfortunate. Must be gutted as Pacey and Artanis now coming to the pits on those dying softs. As interesting, Trin decides to stay out. He must think he's got the pace to extend. Oh, I'm on board with T-Mac at the moment. He is struggling so much with those softs. Lose a position to Big Al. That will make Fever vulnerable again with no DRS, so I wonder if, as Big Al gets right on the back of him, Fever loses the rear a little bit, had to get out of the throttle. This will allow Big Al to be getting a very good slipstream already without the use of DRS. He may be able to make this move happen with some overtake. Yep, as Fever doesn't even bother defending, knows the move is lost. Just gets the car hooked up, gets the move done. Sure, Fever will want to stay with him now and try and save some ERS. So we've got Polo Pepsi all over the back of Pondon. A great run, gives him a little tap ahead. Enables DRS. Oh, just getting him a little bit shaky there. I believe Pepsi should still be able to get the move done. How unfortunate for Pondon. One lockup.
So we see T-Mac has peeled off into the pits, so he's finally getting rid of those old softs, and Trim's still staying out, going for the overcut now.
Yeah, those softs will be screaming at him right now, Gus. I'm not sure how he's planning on making the overcut work, but we'll see.
T-Mac tumbling down the order, losing the pits.
Smitty's made up some good positions. Back up to 9th already, with a pit stop in hand on some people.
See our first time penalty for the race goes to Kalios, who's currently in the pits.
Let's see how Dabry's now getting a piece of this DRS train.
Seb in the chat making some good points. We've got Trent fully committing to gaining time at the end on the medium stint. Obviously hit really early and that's why Trent's going long. And the threat of Fever and Al behind will go onto the softs at the end. So having fresher tyres is going to help Trent out. See ahead, Pondon making the move on Apollo Pepsi around the outside of the hairpin. Pepsi goes deep just to squeeze out the Haas, but as a switch back on, the Haas can't quite get the traction out of the corner. And we'll have to wait for another lap to make his move. We'll see Matsui getting past combined, P14. And Trin has finally come into the pit, so Ponzi does move up to P3 now. Big Al takes the lead of the race. Ooh, a bit of a moment there for Matthew Dabry. Nearly lost the rear. Oh, Pepsi coming into the pits. I wonder if he had some wing damage that might have been hampering him. 6 laps in the mediums is not a very long time.
Okay.
So interestingly, Pacey's been able to get the undercut on Trin, but on board with Trin now, he's very quick at the moment. Got the assistance of DRS as well. And Pacey might be a bit of a sitting duck on the straight.
T-Mac seems to be lining up a move here on Smitty. He's pretty close. Got a bit better of an exit and he'll have DRS. Should be able to get the move done. Gets the move done.
A little bit further back as well. Ponton on Matthew Dabry. Red Bull still hanging in there, going side by side through the hairpin, but I think the Haas is just far forward enough. Gets the better exit and moves up into the points again. But Matthew Dabry coming back at him, but thinks better of it. There's not quite enough room for the two cars to go side by side through here. Very high risk.
Both Pondon and Matthew Dabry have a similar ERS, so I'm sure Matthew Dabry is, if Pondon's holding him up at all, I'm sure he's keen on getting past. But those tyres are definitely starting to show their wear. Should be able to get the move done into the next straight though. Dabry gets the better exit. I think Pondon's a bit of a sitting duck here. Yeah, as Matthew Dabry goes around the outside. An easy position gain for him there. I'm sure Pondon will be wanting to stay. Well, there we go. He's coming back at him as Matthew Dabry gets a little bit of loses the rear end a little bit. And Pondon gets the move back, the position back.
Yeah, Matt Dabry deciding not to fight for the position. I think really hard, yeah, to go side by side through the third sector. Yeah, he didn't really get the elbows out much, so just be playing the long game.
Definitely got a warning just then on board with him while he's trying to catch Mikau. Fever and Al are in a pretty good spot right now, just trading. They're both similar levels of ERS.
Bandcamp in the chat saying rain in 10 minutes.
I hope that's true. Matthew Dabry's about to get DRS on Pondon again. I wonder if he's going to try and do the same move. Gets it done a bit early. It goes third a bit early. Loses to Pondon on the exit.
Look at the run, but it looks like Matthew Dabry trying to just hang in there a little bit more. Side by side to go through the corner, give each other plenty of room. Oh, this is going to be pretty hairy. Matt Dabry backed out again. Oh, you can just see how little downforce they have through that section. And Dan Camp noting that there are some thunder clouds around. It's a bit overcast on that back straight, so we're seeing a little bit of rain towards the end of the race. Jumping up to Fever, is closing in on Big Al for the race lead. In the DRS range, that doesn't look like he's trying to push to get in this time around. Ponzi as well, just 2.5 seconds further back. Trin not really finding the pace on the medium tyre, still 6 seconds behind Ponzi. Gap is slowly coming down though.
And he's definitely gotten past Pacey as well already.
So Master Dabry and Ponton side by side at the top of the straight this time. And that Dabry's got the move done, but is Ponton going to come back at him in the hairpin? It's a very long run. The DRS zone starts a bit like halfway down the straight. He looks a little far back. You can see the light flashes showing that Master Dabry's used up most of his ERS.
He's on 5% currently. Oh, big late break for Pondon there.
Yeah, not quite close enough to get the swap back, and Dabry says thank you very much and moves back up into the point.
Altanis consistently is staying within Mikhail's DRS, and that's probably propelling him forward a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see where he stands towards the end.
Pondon missed his braking mark, nearly ran into the back of the Red Bull, Matt Dabry.
Recovered pretty well. Matt Dabry loses the rear. Now Pondon's got a great run on him.
Red Bull positioned himself in the middle of the track. Through. Oh, but very late on the brakes as the Red Bull. They're still side by side.
Well, let's hang around the outside. Should have the better run here. That's it. Dabry must be struggling on those mediums at this point. They're definitely slower than those fresher hards that Pondon has.
About to get the DRS though, but he's got no overtake to use. But that straight line speed. You see Big Al and Fever both get 5-second penalties for speeding the pit lane and follow each other in. As we see Pondon trying to go for the over and under again. He's got great traction again out of the corner. And yeah, you're right, that's it. Dabry just has no grip on those old medium tyres. Try around the outside now. Oh, there's contact. There's contact between the two. I don't think there's any damage though, but that could have been disastrous. See if
he's fighting for his life out there.
Looks like that little battle's hurt Matt Dabry a little bit. He's dropped off the pace for about half a second now.
As both Big Al and Fever have penalties all of a sudden.
Yeah, so Big Al came into the pits, Fever followed him, they both got 5-second penalties for speeding.
Oh goodness.
Big Al sizing up Mikau now on the back straight. Big Al on fresh soft tyres. There he goes. Even before the DRS zone, those softs are quick. So jump back to Ponton and Dabry, who are going at it again.
I think, yeah. Dabry's going to be able to get it done again. I feel like they're costing each other a little bit.
Oh, a little bit of a block there from Pondon. I don't know that that was two moves. I think that, I don't know. I'd have to see that again before I could really tell if Pondon did anything naughty, but it did look like it was a late move. You see one of the racing points had a spin in the pit entrance. And Mikau has sped into the pits as well. 5-second penalty coming his way.
They're still going side by side into this.
Oh, this time Matt Dabry is the one who goes through first. I get the feeling that this battle's going to end in tears pretty soon. You see Matt Dabry just struggling so much on those mediums. You see him just really struggling to control the car in the slow corners. Those mediums are going to be letting go very soon.
Pepsi just goes past Flyboy.
And all the time you have to live in a space.
Fever's getting all over the back of T-Mac now on those fresh softs.
Here we go, Ponton going on Mattia Dabry again. Oh, cheeky from Matt Dabry. It looked like he might have moved twice that time. Maybe a little bit of a payback for the back straight when Ponton did it to him. Yeah, we see T-Mac loses the place to Fever on those fresh soft tyres.
He's getting a pretty average the straight, but he uses a decent amount of overtake. He should be able to get this move done easy then. Yeah, he's definitely, it's personal now.
Here we go.
Oh goodness.
He couldn't have waited any longer to get past there. He's got it done.
Locks up again. London definitely gets the better exit there of the two.
Yeah, Matt Dabry really struggled there. Thank you for the follow, Acceleron.
Yeah, I feel like Trent's in a pretty good position now, especially with Potsy doing the 2-stop.
Yeah, thank you, Master of Minecraft. Ah, all the follows. So there we go, Mattia Dabry peels off into the pits. Finally gets those medium tyres off that car, and I think if that battle had gone on any longer, it would have ended in tears.
Look how much time Pondon's lost to Smitty now from that battle. It's almost, 13 seconds back now. Wow. It's definitely not what Pondon wanted, although he can still finish very close to Smitty.
Thanks for the follow, Hey Panini Man, and I think not quite still ahead of Jessa. Thank you. But yeah, we got in the chat, we've got Wahid has taken 5 seconds out of Ponton as well through that battle, but like you're saying, they've lost so much time in that fight. It's hurt them quite a bit. Now that's Dabry right behind Matsoid now, both on reasonably new soft tyres. This is going to be a very good battle, but yeah, Trin in the lead of the race now. See Matt Dabry going past Matsoid. Two Mats battling it out in the second sector.
Means Matt Dabry is under threat from DRS from Matsoid now though.
Absolutely.
I don't know if passing there was the smartest move on Mattia Dabry's part. Well, it doesn't seem to be closing in. Yeah, Mattia Dabry is flashing. He's using all of his overtake to keep the position. So it clips the wall a little bit there. He's pushing very hard right now. Whatever he can to try and stay very close to T-Mac through this next bit. He just stays behind.
Ali in the chat saying Trin is my dad, so I can't keep up. Potsy now.
Potsy's going to fly past him.
For the DRS zone. He's got it done. T-Mac pulling down the order a little bit now.
He's definitely still got a lot of work to do. He's got to get past quite a few drivers that don't need to stop again, so interesting to see if he can make it happen. Jen's definitely cool, calm and collected in the lead though.
I'm sure his teammates in the chat telling him, Trin baby, stay cool. Going to be under a lot of pressure there. The gal who just 3.5 seconds behind him now. 6 laps to go. He'll be able to catch him before the end.
Ooh, Potsy's definitely feeling like Artanis is his next target. We should easily get past him here on the straight. He's right behind him. I wonder if he's going to wait. Yeah.
No, he's overtaking him to get past him as soon as possible. Chase up the Beaver. Just has to get within that 3-second window. Get P4.
If Artanis can get a good exit here, though, he does have 30% overtake. He could re-overtake Potsy. But yeah, it wasn't that bad of an exit. It was actually pretty equal, and just got a little bit of overtake there to stay close enough. He might actually be able to get this done if he uses any overtake. Even without the overtake, he might be able to get it done here. He's gonna. Oh, he decides better of it. Big Al has taken a second out of Trin's lead since the last time we checked up on him in 1 lap, 1 second. So I wonder if Trin is having any issues there.
Just noticing as well, the whole track is now dark. Clouds have come in.
Ooh.
We might be seeing rain in the next couple of laps as is forecast. Might be dragging himself.
Got Matt Zoid on combines.
Yeah, let's keep an eye on this little battle between the Renault and the AlphaTauri. Both on similar aged soft tyres.
Big Al now already another second out of Trin's lead.
Now. I wonder if Trin's waiting for rain. Maybe that's why he's on long. That's why he dropped out of DRS combined now. So we'll jump up to Big Al. Flag in sector 2. I think that's just Flyboy running deep to let some traffic through.
Well, Big Al did get DRS there from Flyboy. Running right onto the back of Trin. Yeah, I don't think Trin will be able to hold him for long. Yeah, I guess Trin's only saving grace is that Big Al and Fever with the 5-second penalties. He'll have to be Pacey that overtakes him on track, unless the other drivers get a 5-second lead over Trin.
But with rain around as well, I just wonder if they might be forced to come in for inters. It's pretty late if that's going to have an impact on the race.
I wonder, it depends how heavy the rain is for the changeover point. Might just make it a little bit hard for the drivers on the last few laps.
Big Al's got a great run here. He's not using any overtake, but he's got DRS. Is Trin going to defend? He does. Move across the inside. And yeah, Big Al decides not to make the move.
That definitely is going to cost Trin though. Yeah, he's trying to get the best exit he can, but Big Al with that extra grip from the softs. He's got plenty of ERS.
Ridiculously long straight. Like, there's just no way to defend from it if you're on older tyres.
Yeah.
Okay, Big Al goes through.
Flies past. Unlucky to Trin. Ooh, as Trin gets a little bit close there to Big Al.
Big lock up for the Red Bull as well in the hairpin.
Beaver's getting very close to Pacey now. All Trin needs to do is hold off Pacey, and he can definitely get the win here, and Pacey's 4 seconds back, so I don't see Big Al being able to pull out a 5-second lead in 3 laps, but again...
Yeah. So yeah,
He did catch him pretty quick.
And Trent's softs did last quite a while, and he had good pace as well. Oh, as T-Mac has left the session, it looks like Ali's unplugged the wrong router, and T-Mac is disconnected from the lobby.
Oh, how unfortunate. Phoebe gets the position from Pacey, but that does allow Pacey to get DRS on him. T-Mac joins back. Hopefully he doesn't cost himself the position a Smitty. Have a quick look at penalties. We already know Big Al and Fever on 5 seconds, Mick Al's on 5 seconds as well, and T-Mac and Kalios are on 3 seconds.
Of course, T-Mac rejoins, and all of our deltas have disappeared, and let's come back as each driver crosses the finish line. Looks like Pacey can't keep up with Fever on those soft tyres. The RS range as well.
Trent keeps it cool and doesn't make any mistakes. I think he should be able to stay within these 5 seconds easily.
Pacey brushed the wall there, turns in a little bit too early.
Guess who's getting close to each other on alternating strategies again? Matsia Dabri. Yeah. As combined as well, all over the back of Wahid. Seem to have spread out apart.
Got a bit of rain. Got a bit of rain on the P2V of combined. 2 laps to go after this. A little bit too late to really affect anything though. See combined go past Wahid. Moves up to P12. Oh, but Wahid coming back at the Renault very late on the brakes. There's contact there. Forces the Renault off the track. That's a bit cheeky. I think, is he yielding? I think he is. I think he realised he outbraked himself there. Decided best to give the spot back, and kudos to Wahid there. Made a mistake and yielded. That's what we like to see in those situations. But yeah, Matsia Dabri on the back of the Haas Fondant. See the rain starting to fall on the lens of the camera. Chat saying they're going to run to the end unless it starts bucketing, so see how heavy it is.
Getting a little bit of a lock up there. You can definitely see all the rain going on the visors now. Of all the drivers that have reasonably fresh softs will be thanking that they stopped.
Meanwhile, look at Big Al's lead, now 2.8 seconds. Is he going to pull out 5 seconds now that it's starting to rain?
Oh, he's fallen back. He's 3 seconds back. Ooh, it's going to be very tight.
Jump up, we've got Potsu and Pacey as well. Not going to be anything happening there just yet.
See how Dabri and Pondon.
Yeah, a bit too far back, do you think? So we're on the final lap of the race now, Big Al.
Matsia Dabri Pondon battle is going to go right to the end. as well as Potsy and Pacey.
Yeah, just jumped on board with Potsy now, right on the tail of the AlphaTauri. The much fresher medium, so he should have the grip advantage.
Oh, he's absolutely flying.
Blitzes straight through. Moves up to P4. And he's within 5 seconds of Peeper as well, so that may be a move for the podium. Jumping back, Mattia Dabri hot on the heels of Quandon again. Got DRS on the pit straight.
I think Trin might be able to do it here, Gus. He's only lost about 4/10 this lap. If it keeps the way it is, he should be able to finish in the lead. Has to get very close.
Very close to Quandon. Goes to the outside. And Quandon has to yield, but a yellow flag in sector 1. I'm sure who that is. Here he goes. He comes around the last couple of corners. Big Al will take the checkered flag first. As you see, another yellow flag in that second sector. I'm not sure what that's about, but Big Al comes across the line. But Trin is within 5 seconds and wins his first Tier 1 race for Aussie Formula Racing. Beaver comes across the line in third, but Potsy is within 5 seconds, jumps up to third place, and Pacey comes across the line in fourth place as well.
Combined just did a massive dive, took out Mattia Dabri and himself, allows Pondon to go to keep his 10th place.
Well, you see Combine's yielded there, he's let them through. And now Wahid and Mattia Dabri still battling. Right to the end. Pondon, meanwhile, down the road is 4 seconds clear. And now Mattia Dabri is letting through Combined. So not sure what's going on there. We'll hopefully see some replays in the coming days. Pondon does secure that final point. Comes around the line unless he crashes into a wall prematurely. There we go. Pondon does get the final point. Wahid comes across in 11th. And Combine comes across P12, but gets demoted with that penalty. Mattia Dabri goes 12th. Matsoy will come across the line in 14th place. Quite a mess on the pit straight there. And Apollo Pepsi, valiant effort. He's not had much sleep in the last 24 hours. He's nursing that McLaren around a very greasy Vietnam track. Come across the line to finish in P15. And take a good chunk out of the wall as well. So Big Al gets our driver of the day. Solid effort from him. A bit out of position, not able to set a good time. And to come across in P2, that's a very solid effort from the Red Bull driver, but well done to Trin, getting his first Tier 1 win. And well done to Potsy as well, getting on the podium.
It was a very good race. Honan, I'm sure, will be very happy with getting that 10th place there at the end. But yeah, there might be something to be looked at there, what happened with Combined.
Thank you very much for the sub. Very much indeed. So yeah, well done to Trin, Big Al and Potsy on the podium. Pacey in P4, Fever getting the fastest lap as well, so gets a bonus point there. Then got Artanis, T-Max, Smitty, Mikau and Pondon rounding out our top 10. We've then got Wahid, Matsia Dabri, Combined, Matt Sawyer, Apollo Pepsi, Flyboy and Kalios. And no safety cars or retirements at all in that race. So well done to everyone who participated. Alright, thank you very much, Bateman, for joining me in the commentary for T1. You've got to run off. You've got 3 minutes to get ready into your Williams seat. So good luck and staying into the championship. We're going to take a very, 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 very short break. And we'll be back for T1. So thank you, everyone, for watching. And thank you to Bate.
Thank you.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here for Tier 2 now. Another overcast session, so I don't know if there's any rain forecast yet, but joining me in the commentary box, straight from Le Mans, is Apollo Pepsi himself. How are you doing?
Tired.
Yeah, tell me about it. Just got to get through the next hour and then that's it. We can put our feet up. So, do you have any news about the weather?
Cloudy. That's all I got.
Alright, so could be a chance of rain then. We saw some rain develop towards the back end of the last race. Where we'll see a little bit coming our way as well. So I've followed with Nemo, who's currently on his outlap. And he's at the front of the queue for qualifying, so see how he goes. Tidy start to the lap by Nemo. Very slow left-hander. Onto a very long back straight. Romeo driver. Nicely close to that concrete wall. Just trying to shorten the distance down to the hairpin as much as he can. Third section. And Nemo comes around the second last corner, and next will be the last. Respectable 135.177 on the board. We've got the Haas of Hero setting a 133.220. Great time there. That would have put him quite up the order in Tier 1. That kind of time. We've got the racing point now of Psycho setting 136.036. Also a driver who did Le Mans earlier today. Skin setting 806. And Quantum Effect as well, 34.646. And we've got the racing point of Combat Rat coming on the line with 35.829. Mercedes of the Nut. That is not Nut, that's Keeper, 35.984. Goes P7. And now Terry Bassa, 35.510. Got the Williams of Batemate, who needs a very good result here to stay in the championship. We've got P2 with 34.043. Nut is the next one across the line. It's P11 and Saxa. Slightly faster time, not too far from that spot. And I believe Woolley is the only other car on a flying lap at the moment. Ali and Bandcamp in the pits. Fully across the line goes P11, 36.429, and that's all of our first flying lap. So as I touched on, Batemate needs to keep this championship alive. Hero wins here, he will be the Tier 2 champion. Oh, he's going to the wall. Bully has actually crashed into the wall. I thought he was on an in-lap. And he was pushing a little bit quickly. But yeah, he's now doing the Austin Powers. And yeah, his front wing is pretty wrecked. He's going to have to, yeah, come back to the pits, trying to crash out of qualifying. It still opens the DRS flap though, with no front wing to help guide him around those corners. Jump on board with Ali, who is the son of the race winner from Q1 slightly earlier.
Oh,
I called it. Let's jump on board with who's oh no, I couldn't use it. Yeah. Wooly crashes out in sector 3. Because yeah. Oh, Peeper nearly loses the rear. Just keep using the wall of the track. Goes up to P7, 35.442. There's a big chunk of front wing there in the middle of the third sector. Ali pushing very hard on this outlap. Doesn't want to take too much out of his tyres. Slows it down, brings around the last couple of corners to start his first flying lap with just under 10 minutes to go on the session. Oh, and he's hit the wall. He's hit the wall. And I think he's lost his right end plate. Ali.
yep.
Oh no, pushing a little bit too hard. And this is just his banker lap as well.
Nah, it's going to be a good baker lap then with damage.
Well, he's got to be careful as well. He doesn't bin it again on the way back to the pits. He's got a McLaren round as well. Quantum Effect has had a spin at turn 2. Ali still on a lap and using DRS, but it's not a particularly representative time. We're going to see how he fares in sector 3 here. Big paint slap there in the exit of the hairpin. Got a half very slow on the back straight, just letting traffic through. He goes purple in sector 2. Unsurprising given he's missing half his aero.
He was purple sector 1 as well.
And he's really going to struggle in this third sector. You see just so much understeer, running wide at almost every corner. And he comes straight into the pits and into the lanes. The Renault of Skins is on a flying lap at the moment. Yeah. Line improves by nearly half a second, goes P3. Now Vasa next across the line. Opens the DRS and starting a lap, so stop him through this. Camel, yeah, not one of the driver's favourite ones. The numbers a little bit lower tonight. Interesting to see how it unfolds. An interesting race in Tier 1, so make sure you check that one out once the video is available. P6. Bandcamp, I think that was, is no. On the back straight, let's jump before with him, another driver who participated in the Le Mans 24 hour.
Oh, Jesus.
And Van peels off into the pits, not wanting to set a time on those tyres. Jump on board with Tifa, who's on an out lap at the moment. And starts his flying lap. About 5 minutes left in the qualifying session. So far from Keeper, he's on the back straight now. His teammates just in front of him. Could have organised a bit of a tow there. Set up a little bit better. In front of him there. So it's deep to stay out of his teammates' way. Wide line into the second last corner, just missing the apex slightly. Oh, uses all track the exit on the final one and goes P6 for 134.720. So pretty committed lap there from Keeper. There for him. Jump aboard with the teammate now to start the lap. 3.5 minutes left in the session, so all the drivers will have time for one more run. And we'll be off into the race session. Oh, he's very deep, locks up the fronts, keeps it on the track though, so he's going to push on with this lap. And there we go, his teammate gives him a tow. So he does the nuts delta. Oh, they nearly have a collision on the straight. That was a little bit too close. But another's gone straight on at the hairpin. He's done a Lewis Hamilton, and I'm sure he'll kill me for saying that. He's not a fan at all. He has gone straight on, has missed the corner, and yeah, nuts, not going to hear the end of this one. Jump on board with Nebo in the Alfa Romeo. Yeah, Seb, definitely you should clip that or take a screenshot and compare the pair. I want to see that fast at all to chat after the race. Nemo coming through the final sector now. Very tidy lap so far from the Alfa Romeo driver. Some fans in the chat, you can see. And it comes from line P7, Bruce by 3.5 tenths, so great work by Nemo. Finds himself in the top 10 once again. Jump forward, Batemate, whose championship hopes are on the line here tonight. Batemate looks like he's not pushing this lap. So he'll jump on board with Combat Rat, who's started a lap in his racing point. A bit of a spin there for Combat. Such a low grip surface here, as Saxa has retired. That's on the track, so hopefully doesn't impede anyone on a lap. Let's have a ball with Hero, who's coming onto the back straight now. Wonderful, thanks Seb. Hero looking so good here through sector 3. He's half a second clear of Batemate. The last couple of corners. There he comes across the line. 133.079, improved by a couple of tenths. Alright, next cross line is going to be the Renault Skins. Does not improve. They got the racing point. I think that Psycho has aborted. No, he's still going. No. Very slow. Has not improved. And I think that's everyone. Batemate has invalidated, so he's not going to be able to beat Hero's time. And everyone else has got the checkered flag or is in the pits. So congratulations to Hero, another dominant display in qualifying. Clear of the field by 7/10 of a second. Batemate will be alongside him on the front row of the grid. And we will point to effect another solid performance there from the McLaren Skins there or thereabouts. Combat as well. Good to see him quite high up the order. Nemo too. Mika Vasa Psycho rounded out our top 10, followed by Bandcamp Ali, Bully, Saxa and Nuts. Some valuable insights there, Pepsi, as always.
Yes. I'm trying to stay awake at the moment. It's hard. Hopefully there's no safety cars. For the love of God.
Alrighty, so yeah, a bit of a spread across the grid this evening, but do have about a second here covering our midfield, but yeah, Vietnam's just such a tricky track to get right. Hopefully though, we'll see during the race that people will be able to follow and get some good passing opportunities. We had a few good ones going into the hairpin, and a nice battle throughout Tier 1 between Combined and Matsia Dabri, I believe. No, it was Pondon and Matsia Dabri. Oh, I don't even have my memory. I need some sleep myself.
I'm not the only one.
Yeah, that's some very good battles in Tier 1 a little bit earlier, so I'm looking forward to seeing this one with Tier 2. So we've got the forecast for cloudy conditions, which may develop into some rain. We'll just have to wait and see, but hopefully it does come a little bit earlier than it seemed to in Tier 1. Only getting a light drizzle in the last few laps didn't really affect anything. Just waiting for the drivers to confirm their strategies. We saw a few different options. I saw a race winner, Trin, doing a one stop, I believe. Went softs for 10 laps and then went to the end on the mediums. But yeah, he was lucky to get the win. He only got it because Big Al had a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So he'll, yeah, hopefully see some interesting strategies as well here. I suspect most will be going for the 2-stop, be soft, medium, medium, or soft, medium, soft. Let's just wait for the last of the drivers to ready up. Hey Big Al, hope you're doing well. And here we go. So everyone in the top 10 obviously on the soft tyre that they qualified on, and everyone outside the top 10 on the medium tyre. So we actually saw the medium runners do very well off the start of the race. And it's run nicely to come back through the field on the soft tyre. Big Al, one of those drivers. Haas pulling up onto the grid. And he'll be on the way very shortly. Thank you very much, Big Al. Yeah, it was a rough one. And we'll do a good sleep after this race here in Tier 2. See the last of the drivers pulling up on the grid. We'll be underway very shortly. Here we go. Lights coming on. And we're away. Pretty decent start for Hero at the front. We've got the Mercedes a little bit further back, trying to look for an opportunity. Bit of jostle for position in the second row. And McLaren seated on the inside. I saw some wing flying. Not sure whose that was, but it went absolutely propelling forward. Quantum Effect is up into second place already. A great start from him. And we see that Williams as well. It's Batemate under a bit of pressure from Skins. Oh, and it's contacted this round. Batemate has gone around. This is not what he wanted to have happen. He's got his whole front wing intact, but that is not what he would have wanted. He really needs to be taking some points away from Hero to keep this championship alive. And so disappointed to see for this championship fight. We jump a little bit further up the order. We've got Keeper and Combat battling side by side for P4. Combat comes out on top with that one, but the Mercedes quickly to the toe. You see a little bit further back.
Mercedes in the wall.
That'd be Nut a little bit further back. Keeper, his teammate, side by side with Combat now. We're on the run into the hairpin. Combat's got the inside line covered though. Is he going to be able to outbrake him? No, the Mercedes very good on the brakes. We've got Vassar, sorry, just behind. We've got Mika making a move on Nemo for P7. Nemo runs a little bit wide onto the curb. Can't quite get the traction he needs to fight for the position. We see a little bit further back. Psycho and Saxa battling it out for 9th place. And Saxa a little lock up, but able to maintain position. A little bit further back as well. Bully making a move on Ali, but they're side by side. We're going to the twist session, but Ali decides to go single file. Very wise decision there. For sector 3. Batemate there. About 6 seconds off the back of the field now. Hopefully be able to get that time back very shortly, but Hero leads the race so far. We see Sachs who's peeled off in the pits, must have had some front wing damage. We'll see as well Racing Point, Mercedes and Williams. So Batemate must have had some wing damage as well. That's very disappointing to see. Ferrari of, I think it's Woolley, has gone around at turn 2. And yeah, confirming there that Williams has got front wing damage.
Oh, there goes the leaderboard.
We'll jump up to Keeper, who's currently leading a little train for P6 at the moment.
P5.
P5, yes, you're right. Ah, yes, his Baymate's now in the lead, which he is not, unfortunately. There we go, Vassa. Very good toe. Good run into the hairpin. Who squeezes the AlphaTauri into the wall. Oh, is there two? Oh, one's a Haas and one's an Alfa Romeo. Saxa trying to get a good run out of the corner. Get it as he goes on insights. Saxa struggling to grip a little bit there, just losing the rear slightly. Tries to push it a bit too hard in the corner. Fair train here behind P5 and Keeper. So P9. Carly and Danko not too far off either. See Nemo there going for a move on Mika. Quite able to get it done, but he should have a slightly better run than the Haas. He's done before, he's using a fair bit of his overtake just to try and stay with it, but I think Mika's using a fair bit of defense as well. He's down to 50%. No DRS yet. Oh, there we go. DRS next to very late. The Haas does have it as well, tries to cover off, but Nemo able to get through. We see further up. Keeper and Vassa battling it out as well. The Alfa Romeo very late on the brakes, so too is, the Ferrari. So the Haas pushing him right up onto the exit curb. Nemo gains position up at P7.
I think I just saw a wing fly. I think I'm seeing things now. Maybe.
Very possible that Vassa at the front of this train could have a little bit of wing damage and holding them up. Hero is absolutely bolted. He's 3 seconds clear of quantum effect in P2. Having to get out of the throttle there. Already was going to lose the rear at the final corner. Keeps it together. We'll just see Vassa actually going off into the runoff area there at turn 1, running a bit wide. Very tricky section here in the first sector. Keeper making a little look at Vassa. Another great run from Nemo here on the Mercedes. A little bit of DRS train forming here though, so Keeper will have it to defend against the Alfa Romeo. See there, Vassa using a lot of his DRS very early. Please don't go 3 wide on the straight. They're going 3 wide on the straight. Oh, there's contact! Oh, the Mercedes has gone round. The AlphaTauri's got wing damage as well. But Nemo, I don't know how he managed to get through there unscathed, but he goes up into P5. And, the Red Bull's collided as well. Ali's hit the wall. He's lost his wing. Sachs has got damage. We've got a full safety car now. And there is debris all over the track. And this is exactly what Batemate would have wanted. That's going to bunch up the field. Oh, That
want
was a
this.
hectic
Come
sequence
on.
of corners. Thank you very much for the follow, Room of the Goats.
Why
And
make it a longer
Combat
one?
has got penalty for speeding in the pit lane. We saw a couple of those get dished out in Tier 1. And this will be exactly what Batemate would have been praying for there at the back of the grid to keep his championship hopes alive. You can see all the cars coming into the pits. We've got Hero as well coming in for the lead, so he's going straight onto a two-stop. He's out in the truck on the mediums on soft towards the end of the race, so he comes out of the pits in P3 behind Skins and Nemo, both on soft tyres. Saxer as well is up to 4th place, but he's been on those mediums since the start. Quantum Effect is in P5 on those hard tyres. Combat Rat P6 on mediums. Bully is up to P7 now. And you see everyone else has come to the pits at the moment, so Batemate is still trying to get some ground, and he has been able to get... Oh no, pit lane helps those guys out a little bit. Oh, he's fed side by side with the Red Bull. There's contact, and Batemate comes out in front of Ali there. Oh, that's going to be an interesting one to pull apart after the race. So until you come out of the pit exit, you're not actually bound by the speed limit and the delta that you'll get on a safety car. So a little battle there between Batemate and Ali for track position. Batemate coming out on top. He's currently in P13, so he'll be wanting to catch up to the train fairly quickly. Announcing an attack, but he is at a disadvantage. So the hard tyre, did see that Ponton used the hard tyre to good effect in the Tier 1 race a little bit earlier this evening. But he was battling against drivers who are on old medium tyres, so typically you'd expect the hards not to go so well here at a strength circuit, but we'll just wait and see. Most of the field is still pretty spread. We've got the top 8 cars behind the safety car. They'll be going around again. And then a little bit further down the road, we've got Bandcamp. First of the cars to punch up. Yeah, combined. It was interesting. I was very surprised that no one brought out the safety car in Tier 1. That was a big incident there in Tier 2. Lots of debris all over the track. I'm not surprised. No DNFs though, so everyone's still in the race. But yeah, it could have very easily ended in a lot of tears for a lot of drivers. Waiting for, I think, Nut to catch up to the back of the train, and then we'll be probably under racing conditions at the end of this lap. We didn't see it combine. We saw the aftermath. We saw a lot of drama happening, but yeah, a lot of yielding, a lot of people giving positions back. So I'm sure it'll all be pulled apart in the coming days. I've got the train all formed up, so hopefully we'll be underway racing again shortly. Go, safety car's been released, so everyone's under Skins control. So Skins trying to get some temperature into those front tyres. And he's gone, there we go. Oh, and The car's going very close to that wall on the exit of the final corner. And Skin's got a pretty good gain. And look, we've got Batemate and Ali side by side. So they come across the line. We've got to be careful there because Ali's not actually allowed to overtake before start finish line. As you see, Hero getting through Nemo already. He's currently in P3. Very well at the moment with the safety car. Apparently Hero's got some damage from getting through, so that could play into Batemate's favour a bit further down the grid. Vasa making a move on Psycho for P10 into points goes the AlphaTauri.
Ooh, Quantum with a massive dive on Saxa.
It looked like there was too much contact, no damage at all. But yeah, Bandcamp up to P9 now for Renault. Having a good look at Quantum Effect P5 at the moment. His hard tyres just really not firing up at the moment. You see Batemate struggling to get past Keeper there for P12. The McLaren is still sitting within the DRS of the Ferrari. Fighting time. See how he can go about it. Bandcamp there sitting pretty in P9. Just a couple of tenths behind Mika. Hero making a move on Skins there at the hairpin, goes very deep, forces Skins to take evasive action there. Oh, and Skins very late on the brakes, goes deep. I think that might have been slightly retaliatory there. I don't think he appreciated the dive bomb from Hero at the hairpin, and he's absolutely bolted. The gap's now 1.5 seconds. And Nemo now putting a lot of pressure on the Renault driver through the third sector. Look further back through the grid. We see the Ferrari there, Bully really struggling out of the exit. He's on the slightly older mediums. The gap now, Bandcamp having a look at the inside of the Haas, decides not to go for the line as the Haas driver goes a little bit deep under brakes, locks up, maintains position there in front of the Renault. Oh, Ferrari goes a bit deep, so Haas can make a move. Probably a bit too early to make the move. The DRS detection zone is quite a way down the straight. Make the move too early or you'll end up getting past almost immediately after. See a little bit further up, Quantum Effect and Combat Rad side by side on the run into the hairpin. Oh, the McLaren getting a little bit of a tow. He's gone on the move for the Ferrari as well as contact. He pushes him way off the track and now the look at the racing point, gets 2 positions in 1. And there he goes up into P4, Quantum Effect, and Saxa losing out there, going to go slightly further back, and Bandcamp in P9 there, trying to battle with Bully in the Ferrari. Bully really struggling there, losing the rear a lot. You see the train forming behind Mika as well. Everyone's within DRS of each other, to make passing very difficult. Essentially got 2 trains, one behind the Renault Skins, one behind Bully. And Nemo's peeled off into the pits now, off those soft tyres, decided that's the time for him to go now. There for Nemo, that means he goes dead last. See the Ferrari there, way off track, all four wheels outside that white line. He's going to cop a warning for that one from the game. 3 of those means a 3-second penalty.
Depends on that corner, to be honest.
The Ali there getting through on keeper, up into P12, Batemate as well up into P11 on the tail of Psycho for P10.
Oh, Ferrari's round.
There we go, they've got a Spinella in the middle of the track, and Bully back to 13. I did mention a few times here on that last lap, he was really struggling for grip in the slow corners, and that is one of the slowest corners on the track. And he has gone around, going to have a little bit of a look further up.
Oh, Ben's a sitting duck.
Oh, look at this, we've got 2x2 going on the run into the hairpin. Ben very well defending on the inside there, got the racing point stuck with the Williams. Psycho there is off into the wall now. And he's lost out big time now. Batemate under a lot of pressure from keeper now. Is he going to try and break late? He does. He goes too deep, way too deep. Keeper goes to the run and gets the position as well. Batemate stays in P10, 1 point for him. Have a little look. Saxa looks like he has peeled off into the pits. I think.
Saxa didn't want it.
It keeps going backwards. So it looks
Saxa
like
didn't want it. He got forced in by his skin.
Collision between, it was skins on the inside and Sax on the outside. That's going to be looked at by the stewards, I think. Generally, if you're going to be pitting, you need to make sure you're on the outside because it's an unsafe entry if you collect another car. So I'm sure that one will be looked at in a couple of days' time. Meantime, Ben came up to P5. Great drive from him so far. Keeper very close to the back of the AlphaTauri. Bassa now. I have the assistance of DRS, drag reduction system. Flap in his rear wing will open up, give him a bit more speed on the straights. There it goes. So much more speed. He's using overtake as well. The AlphaTauri positions itself in the middle of the track, trying to defend, and through goes the Mercedes. Very deep though. It squeezes the AlphaTauri right out over the curb. And it looks like, yeah, Batemate's going to try and go for it. Look at Ali and Saxa side by side as well. And also still side by side. Saxa tries around the outside now, and he gets it done. Saxa stays in front of Ali. Great little move there by the Ferrari driver to hold on to that position. Batemate now is just 3/10 behind Bassa as well. Just making some good ground now, trying to get back to the points. Hero apparently has some lime green damage on his front wing, so basically means that it's not visible and it's not really affecting a lot of performance, but it will just provide a little bit of understeer in the corners. So struggling a little bit with pace, particularly in the third sector of the track, where it's most technical. So Batemate there having a snap, dirty air of Bassa. Let's get DRS here, but he's dropped off a little bit. Close enough to make a move here. Makes an easy pass on Bassa. Just way too much straight line speed compared to the AlphaTauri. And he moves up into P7. So he's still on the charge to try and get back to a battle with Hero. Saxa now. Close behind. Racing point of Psycho. Psycho also competed in the Le Mans 24 Hour as well, so props to him for racing tonight as well. To the other guys, being fair. Yellow flag, looks like Ferrari Bully has gone around the hairpin. Setting him up for that back straight. He's going to have a little bit of a look now. Skin's getting past Nut. This is the DRS as well. Moves up to P12 after hitting last lap. Pretty good exit. Just trying to get past the racing point. Tries to squeeze him into the wall. Oh, we've got a massive collision further back. We've got Nut and Skins, both of them very slow. It looks like Skins may be trying to yield the position back to Nut. Possibly. Nut looks like must have been a bit of a late lunge from Skins. Yeah, he's definitely yielding the position, I think. No, he's speeding up into the distance. I think the Alpha Romeo of Nemo may have been involved in that as well. I'm not quite sure. It looked like there were 3 dots there at the hairpin. But yeah, it's proving to be a real problem. Looks like Nut's got wing damage. I think Skins might as well. Yeah, he's missing a fair chunk. So it looks like a collision between the Renault and the Mercedes. I'm sure, yeah, they'll be having some words after the race when they see each other in the pit lane. Jumping up to Ali now, he's having a go at Bassa. Close behind now, he'll be setting him up onto the back straight. There he goes. Oh, his bully is retired for the session in sector 3. Looks like he's just gone into the wall there. They're side by side now, heading towards the hairpin. And yeah, Ali making short work of the AlphaTauri 16 being told just to let him through. There we go, gonna jump up and see if yeah, there's the Ferrari there off into the wall. What disappears. And Ali so much quicker than Vassar at the moment on those tyres, pulling away outside of the DRS zone. Now on the tail of Batemate, who's still struggling to catch the cars in front. Ali's got a very good run. He's pushing pretty hard to try and catch the Williams. Too far back. Oh, he's locked up, gone a little bit too deep. It's going to hurt him just a tad.
Combat.
So Quanta's been able to get through. Combat had to yield. Sounds like he's struggling a bit. Where as Ali just got past Batemate, moves up into P7. Past the halfway mark of this race. Combat and Quantum still battling side by side of the hairpin.
Combat.
Just gliding off the rears as well. Jumping back into, oh, there's too many moves going on at the moment. Psycho gets past Saxa, Ali and Batemate side by side of the hairpin. Batemate gets the position back, moves up into P7. Too many passes happening here, can't cover it all. Oh, notice Ali had the back right out there and he nearly went into the wall there. A lot of understeer. And mate peels off into the pits. So I'm not sure if he's got any wing damage. I think that might be a schedule pit. He might be going on to the mediums to the end here. Just keep an eye on it just to make sure he doesn't pick up some damage from battling with Ali there.
Yeah, it looks like he's picked up damage.
Oh, his race is going from bad to worse. Debate, mate. And yeah, sure enough, he's getting a new wing. That's a real shame. Jumping up to combat right now. He's having a good look at quantum effect again. He'll size him up going into the hairpin once more.
It's hard versus mediums.
Yeah, it looks like combat does have the straight line speed to battle quantum effects, but he just doesn't have the traction out of the corners. I wonder if those mediums are just starting to go off a little bit. We saw that happen in the Quantum, that's their Napri battle. Tier 1 race a little bit earlier this evening. Meanwhile, Bandcamp's got past Mika, who's up to P4. Well done to the Renault driver.
Jeez. Combat lighting up the rears.
Yeah, he's just got no grip, no traction at all. And those rear Pirelli tyres. Right as we see the racing point peel off into the pits. This lap. No, stays out, follows the McLaren. Brings up down to Saxa, who's within a couple of turns to Psycho. Slightly pressure tyres, just has a bit more of a grip advantage at the moment. Ali and Keeper now travelling towards the roundabout. Oh, big slide there from the Mercedes. Combat gets past quantum effect, so he does have the grip on the straight line, but does he have it in the corner? Yes, so he's got past again. Back up into P2. Back on board with Keeper now. Nicholas in the back of the Red Bull. We go, Keeper goes off to the pits, first of the medium runners. Peel off. So 10 laps remaining in this race. Just within the DRS range of Psycho, but not much happening at the moment. Quantum effects still just within the DRS range of Combat Wrap as well.
Combat does have a penalty.
Yes, he does. So he got a 5-second penalty. Oh, he's run very wide onto the curb there as well. McLaren has a look at the inside, but he's not going to make a move. He's going to wait for the DRS detection point, which is in just a moment. He's got a very good run. Is he going to move too early? No, he's gone through behind the racing point, so he'll get DRS, but he's got no ERS. That's the energy recovery system. And he will be slightly faster with that flat, but he's got no battery to deploy the hybrid system, but he's in front of the racing point now. Oh, and again, another big slide by Combat, sliding up the rears on the exit. And we'll have to wait for next time. Meanwhile, Bandcamp about 5.5 seconds behind these two, so keep squabbling, they're going to lose more time to him. As pointed out, Combat Rat does have a 5-second penalty for speeding into the pits under that safety car, so you know, I'll have to serve that in his next stop or after the race. Mika feels off through the pits, and his mediums to 12 laps as well. See a lot of the other medium runners coming into the pits at the same time. Checking on some soft rubber for the end. Will last the rest of the race distance. With Ali making a move on Nemo, P7. Comfortable pass on those fresh soft tyres. Ali now looks forward to Mika and the Haas in P6, who's also on fresh rubber. That's a little bit further back, making a move on Keeper.
There's combats in bed, same with Hero.
Yeah, the rest of the medium runners, apart from Psycho. Psycho's the only one not to be yet. He's 16 seconds back, but he's not going to want to get held by his teammate who's coming in front of him. Let's have a look and see what he's going to do. Stays out. He'll do another lap just to avoid losing any time by being held. Going back to Kipo, who's following Vasa very closely for the final point. P10. Despite all the drama he's been in, Batemate's still inside the points, standing in P9, which will give him 2, but unfortunately he needs to outscore Hero in order to force the championship to go to Brazil next week in our season finale. Bandcamp moves up to P5 as Ali battling Combat Rat, who's come out of the pits. And still battling. And Ali keeps the position. Bandcamp in the meantime, yeah, is bolted. Over a second clear of Ali now, so he's got DRS as well off Mika, so great work from the Renault.
Nope, scratched out, he's back within the second.
Yeah, so Ali's just been able to get, well, he's struggling though, next to the roundabout, but just done enough to get within inside that 1 second detection zone. And get the DRS on the straight. It'll be up to Bearcap though, he's making a move on Mika, and he's going to have a go at Psycho as well. He's got the speed, he's got the DRS open. Has a think about going on the brakes. He's got the Haas around the outside going up onto the curb. Van gets the traction down. Mika deciding not to deploy any ERS to try and fight the position. Bandcamp up into P4. Psycho going very slowly. Bandcamp goes around the outside through sector 3. I don't know how he managed to squeeze through, but he did. And he's up into P3, and now Mika's stuck behind Psycho, who will be coming in at the end of this lap. Oh, I hope he doesn't try to go around the outside. Yeah, and Ali, ever the opportunist, sneaks around the outside of Mika as well. Oh, and a bit of block up from Mika as well. Combat Rat putting a lot of pressure onto the Haas driver. Decides not to have a lunge. Wait until the next straight. And here he goes. Mika doesn't have any DRS off Ali, so he's going to have to position the car and hope for the best. Combat breezes by. Up into P5. So Combat, of course, will have served that 5-second penalty for speeding in the pits. And he runs a bit deep. Mika getting the switch back, moves back up into P5. Having a little bit further look back, Vasa and Keeper battling side by side. Again, Keeper running a bit deep and up onto that curve. It's going to slow him down, compromise his exit. That's going to hurt him down this little straight, but he uses a bit of the ERS and gets him the little boost that he needs to stay in front.
Perfect.
Now Patari on the fresh soft tyres. Back up to Combat Rat, hot on the heels, Mika. Very close battle between these two, almost all race long. The quantum effects, check that out, he's still in the lead of the race. He's 4.3 seconds clear of Hero. On the hard tyres, he's been on for 16 laps. Is this the big brain strat? Is that going to get him the race win? Let's wait and see what happens over the last 5 or 6 laps. Getting past Mika again. DRS is so powerful, probably too powerful at this track, so probably a good thing that he never actually raced here in real life. Combat Ray goes through. This time he's able to pull it up. Has a better exit. No too much wheel spin. And keeps fifth position, having a look back. Keeper and Vasa battling it out again. DRS is too powerful here. Mercedes thinks about a lunge. Terry shuts the door. Keeper has to settle for P9. Oh, he's lost the rear. And I don't know if he got any damage there, but he's under pressure now from Saxo. Goes blitzing past. And Keeper loses 2 positions there. Now, oh, he's really cooked those rear tyres, Keeper. Has to settle down. And he's going to risk losing that position to Psycho behind on the fresh softs. Now, this battle for P3 is heating up now. Bandcamp just in front of Ali, half a second in it. 5 laps to go. Bandcamp, no DRS to defend with. He's 18 seconds behind Hero, who's almost caught quantum effect. When a driver defend, he has been driving for the better part of the last 24 hours. And I'm pretty sure he did about 8 of those hours all on his own. So this is going to be pretty tricky for the AFR veteran. Car in the middle of the track, and there goes Red Bull around the outside. Not much man can do there. Gets a little bit of a toe into the braking zone, and he'll just have to accept his fate. That's happening with tyres, so he might be able to come back at Ali towards the end of the race, but he'll just settle for 4th at the moment. Brutal will unfold. Having a little bit look further back. Psycho getting past Keeper again, up to P10. And Keeper's mediums just look like they're starting to fall off the cliff a little bit. It looks like he's had a few incidents that have just cooked them a little bit too much, and that's going to be affecting the performance and the grip of those tyres. They jump up now, Hero all over the back of quantum effect now. The hard strat didn't quite work out for the race win.
He's missing an end plate.
Oh, it's the McLaren.
Hero.
Oh, Hero's missing an end plate. Oh, he knew that he had some lime damage. Oh yeah, you see there, missing his right end plate. Still keeping good pace to stick with the McLaren. And you can see he's just struggling so much in the corners. So the back Bandcamp staying with the DRS zone of Ali. So this might not be over just yet. Saxo as well closing on a Vasa P8. There we go, Hero. Fresh tyres and DRS. That's a move done pretty comfortably up into the race lead. Quantum effect on those hards for a very long time. Should have enough of a gap to Ali. I don't think that's going to be much of a problem, but it's just going to be whether or not he can control the wear and the lack of traction for the next 4 laps. And kept now not quite able to get a move done on Ali. FMI, just jump onto our Discord or website, follow the links there, and you can sign up. So if you're in Australia or New Zealand, you'll be able to join one of our practice sessions, and you'll also be able to participate in a Friday night race, or you may be put into a tier for Sunday night. Jump on Discord, and Psycho will be your person to talk to. Good for the back, Saxa close to the back of the AlphaTauri. If you want to go to our website, AussieFormulaRacing.com, you'll be able to click on the Discord link there and it will give you an invite to the server. Go Saxa, let's make a move on Vasa now. Close enough to the final roundabout. Not quite, you'll have to wait a little bit longer. Meanwhile, Bandcamp, biding his time, saving his DRS, getting closer to the Red Bull. Can't quite get it done just yet. Goes back to Saxa, he's much closer to the AlphaTauri now. Starts to get him up for a run in the DRS zone. You see the light blinking, that means that Bass has used up a lot of his DRS trying to defend. And there we go, Saxa goes through. Tauri ducks into the slipstream. Knows that gonna have to wait another lap before he can come back at him. Meanwhile, Psycho's joined this battle as well, he's up to P10. Would be thinking about possibly 9th or 8th as well. Done very well since coming in for those soft tyres late in the race. Psycho. Vasa, who's dropped out of DRS range of Saxa now. So he's not much to defend with. Psycho getting the move done on Vasa. Moves up into P9, and next will be Saxa, who's barely a second down the road. Going on to Bandcamp now, still keeping within half a second of Ali. He locks up a little bit, runs a bit wide in the second last corner. Bandcamp, looking like he's got his match. The yellow flag in the first sector. Looks like the Renault Stim's just yielding to the race leader Hero, who's starting the second last lap of the race. DRS in a good tow of Ali now, who may actually be able to pick up some DRS from Nut, who's left down just in front of the Red Bull. And that's not going to help fans' cause to try and get past the Red Bull. He's so much closer this time, and he may have actually been able to get the pass done this time. But he's using it, he's using his ERS, he's got the move done. Ali is going to have DRS. Thank you very much for the follow, Green Hooker. As Ali in the slipstream of the Renault, but Band has DRS. Covers the inside line. Ali tries around the outside. Bandcamp squeezes him out a little bit, gives him space, but he's up on the curb now, and that's going to compromise Ali's exit. Loses the rear a little bit, bit too much wheel spin, and Bandcamp up into P3 and on the podium. A little bit of a lock up there though from the Renault. Ali is going to be looking for any little mistake from Bandcamp. The last time these two battled this hard would have been Singapore, where Bandcamp went for the late move. Ended up spinning and missing out on a win. A little bit of a wobble there from Ali. Looks like his tyres are starting to drop a little bit. He may have been pushing a bit hard to try and keep behind all these laps. The Skins picks up a 3-second penalty, the first 3-second penalty of this race. So well done, Tier 2, for keeping it so clean. As we're on the final lap now, big lock up from Ali, both front tyres, and he's dropped back 8/10 on Bandcamp. Can he hold on for this? Red Bull should get DRS. Thank you for the follow, Yoltman. Ali gets DRS. He will be able to close that gap a little bit, but will he be able to get close enough to make a move into the hairpin? It's a lot of curb. Bandcamp runs very deep and up onto the curb, but still holding on to about half a second lead. He's got much newer tyres, so his exit's going to be a little bit better. But you can just see the slipstream and the overtake for the Red Bull is just helping him get in that close range. The DRS is wide open. He's almost used up all of his ERS, but Bandcamp's using up all of his ERS. Is he going to move to the inside to defend? He stays in the middle of the track. Great defending there from the Renault. The Red Bull goes very deep, and Bandcamp has got the position. No contact there at all. Perfect positioning from the Renault. The Red Bull went for a late lunge, but couldn't quite pull it off. As we see Hero coming around for the last couple of corners now, he takes a commanding win and claims the Tier 2 title, but Drivers' Championship. Well done to Hero. Very well done indeed. Quantum Effects, great work on the hard tyre. 23 laps he spent on those, and Bandcamp will come across the line and gets a podium. In Tier 2, Ali comes across the line in P4, Combat P5. Mika will come across the line in P6. Batemate, valiant effort. He took the championship right to the second last round. Comes across the line in P7 and will be second in the Drivers' Championship for Tier 2. Well done to him as well. Next across the line, we've got Psycho in P8. Great drive from him after being in the pits on the first lap. Comes home and gets 4 points. We've got Sakta and Bassa rounding out those points as well. Keeper comes across the line, P11, disappointing race for Mercedes. And unfortunately Nemo finds himself down in P12. Driver of the day is Ali. Great effort from him. Didn't have a great qualifying, but did well enough to get P4, and a great battle with Bandcamp as well. Solid effort by him. But all praise goes to Hero. Great championship. Some commanding races and qualifying. Well-deserved Drivers' Championship there. Well done as well to Quantum Effects. Pretty quiet drive from him, but it kind of came out of nowhere to claim that P2. Using the, not really fancied hard tyre. And of course, well done to Bandcamp for getting P3 as well for Renault. Hero claimed the fastest lap of the race, so we'll get that bonus point as well. And we've got Ali P4, Combat 5th, Mika 6th, Batemate 7th, Psycho 8th, Saxon 9th, and Bassa 10th. And we've got Keeper, Nemo, Skins, Nut, and Bully is our only retirement. Alright, thank you so much everyone for joining us for Tier 2 for Aussie Formula Racing. We'll be back on Friday night, I think, for our final Formula 2 race, or some sort of event will be on. No, actually it's the 2010 series cars, or one of those special.
Depends on numbers.
Depend on numbers, of course, but yeah, it will be the last time we do a race in the classic cars, as they're not going to be released with F1 2021, so do tune in for that. And if you're a driver, make sure you jump on board. We want to try and get a full lobby just to send off F1 2020. And of course, next Sunday we have our season finale for Tier 1 and Tier 2. We'll be at Brazil. It used to be the final round of a Formula 1 real life season. So we'll look forward to sealing out all of our results, which will define the picking order for next season for the drivers who stay in the tiers. And of course, we'll decide who stays and who goes from Tier 1. I've been Gus Rawls. Thank you so much for your company. It's been Apollo Pepsi, and we'll see you next time. Have a good night.